Blade back in line, making sure they don't lose any of these rounds that you can see plaguing other teams, let's say, so far in this tournament. So keeping themselves well set. But we're finally going to see the AWP coming out for World Edit. So that's something we want to be looking at, seeing how he plays into this. Does that have an instant effect at all? But the double AWP still present on the Na'Vi side is going to be a huge hindrance to maybe it having its place into this round at least. But again, FlipSid have a lot of opportunities here. It's still far from over. This is still a relatively CT-sided map to most people's opinions. And I don't seem to differ from that, but Guardian going to take a very quick peek towards B, and he's got backup there. 2 players with him.
Yeah, look at this change up in the defense. 3 plays towards inner. They stacked it earlier on that second round. Doing it again here, and without any of the pressure, Guardian wants to get more aggressive. Close up with the AWP, and there's very few people who feel comfortable taking this fight. Guardian as one of the best. He's going to turn the corner, and he gets it. Got one more coming, but that's a good trade from C's. Baits Waylander at least right into the second AWP.
You can see Zeus instantly ready for the kind of response from FlipSid. Markloff and World both held back quite drastically by Ivy, not able to make a quick play to try and exploit that stack on B, so resetting the battlefield almost. But Blade snuck his way out a little here. He's got a little bit of room, but not much. Still on the ladder, still not finding any info, and there is Edward pushed up pretty darn close by Electric, so Blade could struggle with this one, considering there are the AWPs down at the back of Ivy as well. You can see a little bit of a peek comes out from Flamey, but it's Blade to trade out again. World Edit finally comes into it, finding Edward, but it's down to a 2v2 here. Zeus has the shot, he adjusts perfectly on it, but World Edit on 2 is going to keep this one close. He knows where Zeus is, roughly down by the old bomb train. Flash comes out, but Zeus going on a bit of a mission here. Go and walkabouts all the way around the map, and now World Edit can adjust. Chooses to go for the M4 over the AWP. Here's a molly, a flash, and a smoke, so still a little to work with, whereas Zeus has nothing here.
This is going to be really tough for Zeus to find him out. World Edit though, and he takes the angle. Zeus has to find him. There's so many different places he can be in. He's just left in a really, really tough spot. That's kind of the danger when you rotate around through CT spawn like that. That's a lot of time for your eyes to be taken off that outer train yard. And the reason he does it is the danger of that AWP at the range he was at. He doesn't want to have to mess with that, doesn't want to have to get into that long-range battle with an AWP. But still, World Edit gets plenty of time to readjust his position. So nice win from him, 2-5, but now they have to build on that because buying into this round, it's only World Edit who really has any kind of economy left over. Everyone else is kind of, bought out towards the end. So if they lose this, it's going to be back onto pistols again. This
could be pretty treacherous, but this time around we're seeing the more default. We saw Ely coming out from Na'Vi where you've got that 4-1 play, but it's Edward getting aggressive down towards Pop. He's going to be looking for info. You can hear the spray coming out, but Flamey going to walk away on 14. Shara going to try and build off the back of that. Seized. Not landing this round. Somehow Shara gets away scot-free.
That's a pretty smart play. It's very, very aggressive from Shara, but he knows, or he gets the idea that he can at least have a chance to get a couple shots off. Unfortunately, he just doesn't land any of them. Now sees this is the battle he wants to take, and that's an easy one. Waylander out in the open. He goes for a second, doesn't get that flick. A little bit partially blind, but meanwhile, they've snuck out lower ramp. It's going to be Flamey who's got to be very careful.
That 14 HP better come up with the goods, and it almost does. It sees, though, to keep control of this one again, catching out Shara eventually, but Blade does get the bomb down on 1 HP. It's a little bit worse for wear here. Markloff does have the molly, but 1v4 is closing in on Miracle sort of territory here, and Edward already going to go for the fight, and you can see the fire comes in instantly. Na'Vi not going to let that one happen. They're going to close this one out, and again, FlipSid's money wasn't looking great before, and now, well, not going to be looking too much better. So, Na'Vi building well, starting to, get a little bit more dominance building back into this one, and FlipSid going to have to look at what they can do here. World Edit was fine, because as you said in the last round, did have the economy building early after that 3K first as he picked up that AWP, but we're going to be seeing the pistols out again.
Yeah, they just can't do anything with this buy. That would concede so much power into this half. They've got another chance here where they can save one more round. That plant's going to help out moving forward. So just the pistols. There were opportunities in that round for FlipSid. We talked about Shara missing his 1 kill. I'm not sure if Waylander thought he was completely hidden, but C's is going to take that all day long. Unfortunately, the bummer is they had the economy of Na'Vi very low. They had him in that situation where they could break them if they just had won another round. But now with the fact they only killed 1 person in that, Na'Vi's able to build right back up again. So it's going to be another situation where the economy of Na'Vi is very strong, and they've been doing this all half. It's been Guardian before, but Flamey now pushing up Ivy is going to gain them a lot of info.
You can even see the way they're coming into these rounds. They're playing quite deep, I guess, at the start when they know they're coming against pistols. This time, Edward is going nowhere near Pop. Before, I think it was Wayland who managed to catch him out with the Mag 7. Not going to be able to be doing any of that this time around. So again, Na'Vi reading this well, and look at Flamey. This guy is getting so much information already. Markloff's going to just peek out Great timing on that. I don't know how he expected it to happen. I'm not sure he heard a step possibly, but Flamey now in a bit of a dance here, but he knows where they're heading towards, and they're going to take this as the word go, basically, and it's going to allow the rest of Na'Vi to try and just tighten that noose, and that's exactly what's happening, leaving Blade again, your last man alive, an easy cannon fodder for God.
Got to start putting rounds on the board. This double op setup for Na'Vi has been very strong since it came out.
Yeah, it's been incredibly impressive, and look at this, again, the CT side is just really bringing variety to the forefront here. Seized coming over instantly to try and support by A, maybe expecting another of those fast hits that came up before on that buy-up when they had the AWP previously. Not going to be the case this time. Looks a little more default than usual, or at least a little bit more stacked towards the A hit. But again, Na'Vi seem to be mentally very well prepared for this.
And this comes down to Starix being one of the most well-respected coaches we have in the pro scene, and the different looks that we've seen him throw at him. Even gambling with putting, like you said, no bodies at the inner bomb site initially on this round, expecting that kind of a fast play from FlipSid. Obviously have a lot of knowledge of how they like to play because they've played them twice in the past week or two. And Starix is just seeing he can catch him off guard with some kind of a setup.
We'll see if it works out. Still a minute on the board. These two teams like to run that clock down as long as they can. There's still so much utility with the T side. There's no rush on this. They can play those smokes out as they feel. But again, maybe hoping that they could catch someone on a bit of an aggressive stance. Not going to be the case this round. As we noted, it was all attention towards A for the CT side. But bringing it back in, Zeus pushing himself up pretty close again. This play by Electric has been paying off, and then some. He's got the support of Flamey. He's got Guardian there down by the back of Ivy. Hell, he's even got Edward playing up by Pop. So this is a very instant contact play, and here we go. Edward's going to swap the feet coming down the ladder. Doesn't expect the second. Wayland's got another shot at it, but the second by the cherry doesn't go any better, but it's Blade again with the goods coming up through Ivy, and Markov joins in, and that's 4 kills back to back, just given over towards FlipSid, and now Seized. Gonna have to do some insane play here. Whiffs the pop flash over the top. Gonna go for a quick aggressive play to try and catch off the bomb plant. He gets out Markov now 1v1. Blade with 2, Seized with 2. And Blade, nerves of steel there, gets the bomb down. And Seized doing a bit of a dance of death here with Blade. Nade towards the left, Blade is low, that's 39 HP, down to 20. And
3-on-1, and that's just gotta make you feel so much worse for the rest of the half.
And it felt like it was such a long time in the making as well. These guys haven't had great success making it towards the A-bomb site. As you said, the crossfires did pay off, eventually coming in towards it with Blade and Markov. So surely a really frustrating round to be sent back in on. But 8-2 scoreline-wise, any Na'Vi fans out there are going to be very pleased with this as a beginning for them after a couple of questions of their performance, I guess, individually, and how is Flamey going to fare? How's he feeling? This hasn't been a huge test of them so far. They've been keeping this one into check. But, you know, FlipSid in this round have so little to play with. A couple of Deagles, Tech 9s, a P250 and a flash for World Edit. So looking to do some damage. Last time I think they took down a couple of players. Almost got a bomb plant out of it, but Zeus up so close and personal. Not going to allow Blade to step out too far. Takes a touch of damage, but nothing much. But it's going to be Seized who has to come up with the goods this time. He's got 3 players looking to exploit him, being a little bit aggressive here. The molly goes down in upper, does catch out Waylander, and it just seems so cool under this pressure. And look at that play from Seized. This is a player on point, and now it's Markov left with nothing to do in this round.
We mentioned Seized has been one of the standouts for Na'Vi recently. He's at 16-4 so far in this match. He has an incredible performance so far. Obviously, that 1-on-3 last round is incredible, but again, another look from the defense as well from Na'Vi. Another way they're putting pressure on Ivy with Flamey pushed up halfway, just waiting for Guardian to take the shot, kind of a bait and switch. So Na'Vi being very deceptive in their defensive sets, and this was an easy round. And it all stems off the fact that
it's ridiculously good how well he's playing at this point. And why not trust a player if he's having a hot couple of games? If he's having a good run of things, why not give him that? It gives so much over towards the team. 9-2 now, though. FlipSid starting to look a little bit worse for wear. 2 rounds is just not good enough at this point. And if I'm not mistaken, they did pick up the first pistol round as well. So only 1 real round off the back of that, and that was given over by World Edit with that 3K that he picked up.
Again, another round where Na'Vi sends the majority of their players, all 5 in fact, out towards the A-bomb site. No one watching inner. Sees just now rotating back. The scary thing about this is one player has already crossed towards upper. They could have already been pressuring him, so he's counting on the fact that they've beaten up FlipSid enough to where no one is going to be confident enough to make that aggression. Guardian misses the initial shot, but again, it's this bait and switch setup, and we'll have to see how it plays out.
I don't think I've seen Flamey push up to this spot, at least so far. So
last round he did it, but he didn't see anyone.
Right. So again, I love this variety, because Na'Vi seem to always, every now and then, they seem to switch a couple of pieces up in the Na'Vi puzzle, I guess, and it always pays out so heavily for them. So this is a good look for Na'Vi right now. Flamey can just lock off Markov, who's been liking to pressure down Ivy. You saw it in the last round as well, he only had the Deagle to work with. Likes to play that kind of catch anyone on the back, but at the moment, they've actually caused a little bit of trouble here. Looking at the B side, there's absolutely no one there. Seized has pulled himself over, so in theory, FlipSid, of course they don't know this, could easily walk in towards that B site and have an absolute whale of a time, but not going for it in 34 seconds left. This is going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a fake from FlipSid, and they will eventually head to that inner bomb site. The bomb is there. Markelov, he can't even get that first kill. Flamey does find him, but it's pulled C's away. So the fake has worked. There's been a trade. It's a 4-on-4, but it's going to be easy access into this bomb site. Blade still fighting outside, and there's C's. Whirled at it, picks him off, patiently waiting on the lower ramp, and here comes the bomb plant.
Okay, now into the 3v3. Let's see what they've got as a setup here. The retake's going to be pretty tough from Na'Vi. Waylander, Shara, and Welded all staying down pretty much by the bomb site. No one retracting back towards the brown halls, but Guardian, first one to go looking, and he's going to find it. Welded gets absolutely smashed out of this one. Now 2 left, Shara and Waylander. Better have a 6 set up here, and it's not good enough. Waylander gets swept aside, and Shara not going to have the impact he wanted. Means the defuse is coming out, and Na'Vi again starts stretching their legs further. This is a bit of a whitewash so far.
Yeah, such strong coordination from Na'Vi on that retake. Even with C's falling that time, a 3-on-3 with the post plant, and Guardian, I mean, he picks off World Edit, maybe a little bit of an aggressive peek from him. That's a crucial position, especially with the AWP, to hold to protect your teammates who haven't been able to get out of bomb site. So 10-2, the fake works, and that's the thing with FlipSid. Some of the tactics they've ran here have worked initially in these rounds, and it's the late round situations. It's a 1-on-3 from C's. It's that 3-on-3 beautifully executed retake from Na'Vi. FlipSid just can't handle it at the end of the rounds.
Well, this is the thing. They are often hailed as the mini Na'Vi tactically to some degree, but then they always seem to lack the firepower unless someone has those big performances. Now, of course, a couple of players have been playing well, and a couple of players have had those individual moments, but it's just not consistent in comparison to Na'Vi at this point. But again, it's so hard to know what you're coming up against with Na'Vi here.
The big thing about the firepower with FlipSid is that Blade is actually leading the way in terms of fragging power for them at the moment. He's doubling up his nearest teammate. World Edit, Waylander, these are the guys that you expect to be the ones putting in the majority of the work, at least on the scoreboard. And when Blade has this many kills and his teammates don't, something is going wrong.
Something's going wrong this round already. Markelov gets swept aside. He's removed from down by Ivy. That's going to give Guardian complete vision. And it's allowing a couple of players to get themselves into a bit of a different spot. Already starting to read into what FlipSid were intending to do this round, but Zeus pushing up as well. Blade, it's a dangerous game you're going to be playing if you even fancy going out that way. Got to be careful on that. Zeus going to smoke himself out. And Guardian actually backs off from this, so not overextending, not going to stay his welcome. And now 50 seconds left. This looks like a B here, but it could change up at any second here.
The issue as well for FlipSid at the moment is because of this passive playstyle. I mean, look at this. Guardians just picking them off with the AWP. They've lost 2 members, and they haven't made progress anywhere. They haven't even probed enough to know what kind of setup they're executing into. It's just one of those things where eventually the call comes in to hit the B bomb site, and you hope and pray that the setup is ineffective from Na'Vi, but so far it hasn't worked out that way, and Zeus on the flank. Welded
knows this could be a possibility, but it doesn't seem to matter. The spray almost connected towards Shara as well. The 2 remaining players are in a world of trouble, and Guardian just puts them out of their misery with Edward in tow, and this has been a beautifully read game from Na'Vi so far.
I mean, the picks by Guardian just allows Zeus to basically corral FlipSid and have such a fast flank, even when they get into the bomb site. Even with World Edit knowing that it was a possibility, still can't win the battle. It's still just a little bit unexpected. 16-5 for Seized, 12 kills each for Zeus, Edward, and Flamey. And this is just suffocating defense from Na'Vi. They've thrown so many looks at FlipSid now that FlipSid is really unsure how to play the beginning of these rounds because they face the aggression, they face the close-up Na'Vi members in choke points, so they have to be very careful at how they approach everything. And it's just Na'Vi's thrown them completely off their rhythm. This has been a really nice game plan out of Starks.
Well, limited work put in at the start, they said themselves, but it's clearly paying off and already damage being shoved into the face of FlipSid here. Look at this play. Guardian and Edward having their way with them. And my word, Markelov and Waylander just left there reeling at the back of what's just been done. And Flamey and Zeus finding the last 2, trying to find their way out towards A, and they're just being locked out here.
Going into the second half.
We have a double AWP and an auto sniper. Why not? Why not? You know what? They can barely get a buy-in on FlipSid side. So it's not a great position to be in, and Zeus is the one with that auto sniper looking to do the spam right through towards upper, and no one's there right now, but bear in mind Waylander and Shara weren't far off at that point.
It's the psychological damage of just hearing that gun go off. That
we have not had a good half.
Like, this is not going to go well.
Oh, Guardian's getting angsty here. He wants to find this. He knows Markelov's been playing this spot, and he is so hungry for this kill.
He knows he's there, and he's isolated him, he's prevented him from falling back. So now Guardian just is like a shark, but that's a great shoulder peek from Markelov. Still can't get much out of it.
Here comes the cavalry, very loud as well. Guardian finds that even through the corner of the wall, but it's going to spur on the play from the T side now, trying to make their way towards the A bomb site. Finally having some fairly good trades into this, but Flame is now going to pick up the mantle, and it's going to pay off just as well with Guardian's AWP rattling off as the final shot of this half. And yeah, that might be the Na'Vi beast that people were scared of possibly coming to this event, but it is the first game of the groups for them here, so a long road ahead of them. And it looks like we already see a plan building into this. We've got the Molly with Seized coming out there. Guardian going on the utility too. Curious if this will be that B hit, of course, with the Molly to be placed on the B side. But there is a smoke in Shara's hand. So again, this could be countered to a degree. And let's see if FlipSid have read into this. Is this another play they've read from Na'Vi? Because you know you're going to face these guys on train. This is a very predicted pick, I guess, of map. So let's see if the work's paid off for FlipSid, as they need the start here. No two ways about it.
The big thing is Seized will not make the entrance into the B bomb site with him. He has a Molotov. He will stay in these box halls. That is for the plant to bounce off the doorway. If it does come down to that kind of situation, he is the insurance policy to make sure they cannot defuse it. Likewise, Shara with his smoke, that's the one that's got to be saved for the bomb train if the bomb does get planted here. He's got a job to do first, though. Long range, this is where you want that pistol, that ranged pistol to do the work, but he's flashed off.
And look at Na'Vi, they're going straight in for the fight. They're trying to bring those Glocks to a range that they can actually work in, but Shara welded and Waylander all over on the side. Edward hit the shot. No, he misses it. Waylander's there, catching out too. And so far, FlipSid are holding this one just in check. But there we go. Flaming Guardian now, the last two. They have no step towards the site. Guardian, however, still at least does have the bomb, so maybe could find a piece of work to build here. It's not all over, but with merely 25 seconds and Waylander starting to warm up, it's looking good, but Guardian's going to claim him. But it is a four-man clean-ish round, I guess, for FlipSid. And for them, it's do or die here at this point. You can't afford any round losses.
Na'Vi was hoping the attention of FlipSid would be drawn towards that lower ramp. And it just didn't happen that way. So they pushed up the upper and they got one picked off and they kept trying to be aggressive, but by then the rotation was in. The bomb didn't even commit to the site because they just got beat up so badly there was no point for the bomb to try and go in. So both pistol rounds won by FlipSid, which is odd to say because it's not too often in this situation you win both pistols and you're down 10 rounds. You only have 3 total in this match.
The Deagles can be deadly.
5 of them as well.
Oh, all right. There's the first tag. All right, Blade down to 70.
And you can see the kind of idea that Ever has. He takes the shot. He's not even going for the kill. He just wants the tag, because when you have these 5 Deagles and each one just gets a tag, they can be dangerous in that sense as well. You don't have to commit to try and fight for the kill. And
now it's going to spur on Seized and Flame to start making their way through Ivy, knowing that maybe there's a little bit of a weakness, a possibility to do some work, but the flash is going to hinder them slightly. But look at Markelov's HP as well. This is a slow game. This is a slow, strangling play coming out from Na'Vi, and another tag to follow towards Blade, but it's not going to do the job, and Blade going to hold the line. And that is massive for FlipSid here, to not give up any room. But Guardian and Edward still going to be desperate for opportunities.
And now it's very unlikely they can actually win this round for Na'Vi, but the idea is Markelov and Blade are very, very low. See if you can get 1, maybe 2 more kills. Oh, and there it is, Guardian, that's sick. Now it opens it back up. Yeah, now it opens things back up.
Guardian still looking. His teammate Edward has fallen. It's still all down to him. He's got 25 HP, no utility, no armor. This should be a clean finish from FlipSid here. But then again, let's remind ourselves, Markelov's low, Blade is low. It's Shara. Oh my God, Guardian! That is obscene, and he's still alive. He's still got a chance here. That's 3 kills. Blade goes down. This is unbelievable. And now 1v1. He can find Shara. He's on 3 HP. Shara has everything he needs, and he finally keeps it.
He's going to have to actually hold off. You can see, look at this buy that Na'Vi's put together simply because of that damage. And FlipSid is not prepared for this. They have a pistol HUD world at it.
That was so dirty. Wow, okay, that's a little worrying. Of course, Welded it will be maybe wanting to look at getting the AWP at some point during this game, but it seems round by round is all they can look at this point. If someone like Guardian's already going off, you can only imagine what's going to happen down the line here, but there is still rounds to go. And this time, again, we see the mollies here in place with Na'Vi. They can do a good B hit, they can use them to clear corners, or they can save one back and try and keep it for that plant. Defend it as best as possible. Here comes the instant fight, and the contact works out straight in. So little utility to be put in their way from FlipSid. They're just bullying their way through. Edward finally gets held back by the flames, but beyond that, there's not much stopping him, and there's the other spray down. Finally, a response comes out from Blade and Waylander, but this is a 3v3. That bomb is planted, and they have players in position, but no mollies to stop the defuse.
Yeah, no more rifles as well. It might be a little bit over-aggression for the AK and Galil to be the ones pushing when you have Tech 9s and Deagles at range. Guardian, though, he's going to do some more damage. He pulls him off the bomb at least, trying to land that one more headshot. There's the diffuser going down. And actually, there's still Markelov very, very far away. He's got to make his way to the bomb site. Guardian, oh, that would have been a beautiful shot to hit, and he goes for it, but Markelov's got the cover. Another round that's so incredibly close, and Navi with another plant might just decide to keep the pressure up.
These, as you said, these rounds being so close, why not? The 2 rifles that were invested into by FlipSid do at least get brought back over. So Blade and Markelov going to retain those. They can share out the money as they feel free. But let's look at Navi here. They're not known for going for, I guess, questionable buys, but they're going to invest into this one. They're going to go for the rifles back out. They have 3 players clean up on it. You've got Galil with Zeus. Okay, Guardian with Galil as well, but it's decent enough. They have enough to build off here.
And they have a lot of rounds to play with. It's not like this is, you know, repeated force buys. There is a reason why they're doing this, because they know the economy is on the breaking point for FlipSid, and especially on T sides of Train, you always want that CT team to be on the breaking point. That's how you get your rounds on a map that can be so one-sided. And this is very aggressive. This is not the slow-paced Navi that we're normally seeing. They want to get in, they want to get aggressive. Markelov is being very passive, but it's Blade who's manning up, who gets that first headshot, and there he is with another.
Absolutely sublime crossfire coming in from those 2, but again, it's still kept into some sort of dangerous area until well that it found Zeus. That's going to leave Edward 1v3. He has no HP almost at this point, not enough to take any clean fights, to say the least. But there's Markelov and Wild Edit. Not expecting this. No one's really watching the Ivy play. Of course, they're watching the push, but not the peak. So, I wonder if Edward's going to try anything here. They do have rounds to play with, as said, but with 15 HP, it doesn't seem much point.
No, there really isn't, and this is good for FlipSid because they've withstood the pressure. You know, after this, because there's only 2 kills that go out, it's not 3 or 4. There's no plant as well for Navi, so they're just going to save next round. Even if Edward has this AK-47, they're just going to say, all right, FlipSid has survived our early attempts at breaking the economy, trying to catch him off guard. It doesn't work. Save 1, and then they're going to have essentially the full losing bonus built up as well. So that next buy after 1 save will be very, very powerful.
You can see that FlipSid are so cautious to even go hunting for this. They really can't be affording to lose any guns at this point. They need to keep this in check. They need to build their own money up as well. Yeah,
they have to drop a gun over to Waylander. He's only got $150, so they need to give him one. And it's also, I mean, you could just kind of see FlipSid's being, just individually, some of these guys are being very passive. Markelov was so afraid to peek that corner until Blade made the initial contact. Then he comes in. So he did patiently wait for the crossfire to get set up. But usually at that corner, you are the one to make first contact, and he just kind of fell away.
So scoreline-wise, FlipSid
really going to start getting dangerous when he's going to have time to sit in T-mid or sit over towards Ivy, use that op to try and get someone out of position to try and find that opening kill. And look at this inner rush. Only 1 member here.
Shara.
Yeah, but he senses it. He already falls away. That's a nice nade on a Guardian. That stops the pressure as well.
And it has stopped it. It has completely and utterly halted that train in its tracks. That cannot go any further now, and that's a brilliant bit of play from Shara, considering, excuse me, he does get overlooked sometimes when you discuss this FlipSid Tactics lineup. That was a good moment for him, even though he gets no kills off the back of it. Just to deny any initial start here for Navi is going to send them back. But these guys, known for their build-ups on this map, they can go back to that slow pace. They can fall back to any style they want, but those pistols are going to find it hard to maybe find their place in these rounds.
Very interested, because this is almost looks like it's playing out to be a fake. And it actually, they're lining up for a smoke execute towards that outer train yard. The bomb is on C's, and he hasn't moved from box halts towards B. So that's eventually where they want to just pull 1 member of FlipSid away towards that outer train yard, maybe both. It's usually doubtful until the bomb is spotted, but they just want to have that window of opportunity to get the plant. And actually, with Edward throwing that smoke, it could just end up being some kind of a double fake, but no one's committed.
They're using their players as the fake.
Yep.
They had no utility. They have to put the players out there. This is literally throwing them to the wolves. Seized is waiting back. Edward's the one with the firepower, so he's going to be waiting out, taking his time on this one. The kills are going to come in regardless. This is pretty comfortable and good stuff from Blade, individually having a good moment there. But Seized looking for the plant now. If he can find this, that would be brilliant for him and the Navi side. But Shara's moving it. They do get the plant. So I guess at the end of the day, that's probably all you can hope for, unless Edward had a massive impact or something very strange happened there. So still getting something out of that round, even though they didn't get a singular kill.
Yeah, that worked out perfectly for Navi. That's the best they could have hoped for, basically. And now we have the op on Guardian. With that plant as well, that's huge for Edward, because he did save the AK-47, so he didn't make any money off that round. So he actually, with that $800, that extra bonus that he gets, he can now afford a much stronger buy.
And we've actually got a timeout. So we are back into game. To be careful, because there is a very deadly man staring down just very close as to where you are. And it looks like a bit of a default A hit coming out so far from Navi. And you know, the pace this time, a little bit slower than before. They have been showing some real stances of aggression, which is quite unique. And A little bit of a peek up and above there from Guardian. Not going to find much out from it, however. No one playing towards the trains. But again, not seeing a player can give you just as much information saying, well, they're not playing in. Maybe they're sitting deeper on the side, or maybe they're pushed up close. Let's see how they adapt going forwards here. To FlipSid, they're not just giving all their utility away early. They still retain some smokes. They've still got some flashes if they need it, either for the retake or for trying to halt what's coming their way. Guardian still having no real success here, finding these openers that are so often gifted, but it's seized to find Markloff. But then again, look at this stack. It was all over towards B, but they're adjusting. But now where did Na'Vi take this? They've traded out 1-for-1. They know roughly where Blade is. Guardian's put himself down by Pop. Blade retracts in, and now suddenly FlipSid need to readjust themselves. They're out of position. Zeus barrels forward, and this is sheer firepower coming into play here for Na'Vi. Down to 10 seconds. The bomb finally comes in, and it's retake time, but with 3 players, this is incredibly tough.
Yeah, this is a sick executed tactic from Na'Vi. There's Shara with 1 kill on a Flamey, not expecting that. They know one's above. Can Shara figure it out? He can't. Zeus gets that shot, and that position is way too strong at this point. WorldEdit does find him, but there's Edward. Go down ladder. They go towards that outer bomb site, and sees is essentially a fake of a fake.
Brilliant. Now, the one thing we've got to point out here is Markloff has been trying to pick up the double orb, and it seems to be so hit and miss. There is so little consistency when you watch this guy play. Sometimes it is off the charts. Other times he's been completely wrecked down by Ivy.
I think on a certain level, though, anyone who watched some of the history of CounterStrike, Markloff, one of the most storied operas, is just happy to see it in his hands. I know Anders is crying.
Anders is grinning right now. Yeah, there is a big smile there, which has been wiped off his face.
Markloff is crying as well.
Oh, Markloff, why? Every time you give us hope when you do this, we all start, you know, wondering if maybe it's that moment, but it's not. It's definitely not. There's now 5v4. You didn't need to give Na'Vi any help or any step towards getting these rounds in the bag, especially not opening kills. But Shara and WorldEdit, it's still on the B site. Could have some play here. Na'Vi
just has to wait. C's has a huge flight going on. He has been spotted, and actually surprised they're committing here. They do run right into that. WorldEdit can get one more. Yeah, if they had just been a little bit more patient, he would have got both these kills, but still, they're waiting it out. Now they're being patient. And WorldEdit, there's a clock on how much longer he's going to live.
Do it. Do it.
Why not? Oh no! Oh no! Okay. It's just a little bit of a teaser.
No one saw anything.
It's okay. We're back in the room. Flamey with another kill. That's huge, and Blade's gonna fall right afterwards, but jeez, what a letdown.
They split through Ivy. They go all the way through CT on their T side, and they did this insane play. So it's kind of nice seeing some of that still there, just given the opportunity of, you know, back of Markloff overextending. But we're at 15-7. Na'Vi on the doorstep of closing this one out, breaking the back of FlipSid. Well, pretty much just breaking that spine in half at this point. Blade at least going to put up a good fight here, but there's still so much more left with Na'Vi to build back into this round. And that gun, they can try and recover it, but not the easiest task with Guardian in the way.
Yeah, Caesar's had some good success as well, getting at least the initial kill coming out of Ivy, and he's going up against Markloff, who doesn't have a weapon. Well, there is a second player rotating over to set up a crossfire. Zeus is waiting for that. They're going to clear the corner. They see nothing. Nade comes out, sees this is his chance, but he spots 2, and he commits to Markloff. That allows Blade to get the kill, and now there's really no chance of exit until these 2 kills come out. Zeus, Flamey, and Guardian so quick, all 3 kills, and Guardian, he knows where Waylander is, and he's going to let him walk right into his crosshair, and it's all over. Flamey with the last kill on Ashara, 16-7 for Na'Vi in the opening match.
And that first side performance from Na'Vi was just so condemning. There's no 2 ways of saying it. That first side looked deadly. FlipSid showed a couple of signs of life. There's no taking that away from them. They started to look decent, but then again, it was how long until Guardian gets that orb? How long until they break? How long until one opening pick is found, and then that's enough to spiral?
And how long until C's has some kind of crazy impactful round? Because he was really, I mean, you know, we mentioned the scoreboard a couple times. They were all very, very close in terms of their statistical output and frags. But it was C's who had all the high impact plays that just put him above everyone else. He was the one making things happen for Na'Vi, and that's another sick performance for him in the books.
On the other side, though, Blade taking nothing away from him. He certainly had moments himself, but that does pretty much give questions across the board to everyone else there on the FlipSid side.
Yeah, that was very surprising. Very, very cool to see Blade putting in that kind of work, but you know, it needs to come from other places because he's the one setting people up to have success. And if he's getting the kills, that means earlier on in the tactic, you know, something went wrong for his teammates, and that was the issue. I mean, we saw it a couple times. Good starts to some of these rounds on their T side. That half that was so one-sided towards Na'Vi, and just couldn't close them out. Too much individual performance on Na'Vi's side.
Great stuff from Na'Vi there. So guys, we'll be back after a very short break, but hopefully you've enjoyed the show. So